Bert, did you hear this guy at one point mention Ben Simmons' name? A guy who just produced his second 0 point performance. He didn't mention his name. He mentioned Joe Harris. He want to talk about Kyrie Irving. Like, why are you giving Ben
Well, he didn't
Simmons?
play. I mean, he was out with a back
That was
injury.
tonight. He just
Yeah,
had
he didn't play.
he just
If
had
he
his
didn't
second
play and he
zero.
scored 2 points, I would have definitely got on him. You know, I'm like, hey, listen, you know, you got to be. But listen, like I said, all right, the second to last video I did on Ben Simmons. Now I'm gonna do another video on this. I'm gonna actually show the Boston game. Ben Simmons is driving. Listen, the scouting report is actually out on Ben Simmons. Opposing coaches know what Ben Simmons is actually capable of. They know he can get downhill. They're not going to just give him an easy runway to the basket. Now, he had 13 assists in the Boston game. How do you think that those guys got those wide open shots? Because he's being aggressive, he was getting downhill, and he passed it up to open shooters. You know, so he made the right basketball play. If they're going to collapse on him, the right thing to actually do is actually pass it.
You know, it's
But
funny. It's funny that you mentioned that. And Rasheed, we spoke earlier today about Ben Simmons, and who did I compare Ben Simmons to in regards to height and the ability to utilize the floor?
Magic Johnson.
I compared him to Magic Johnson, and why? Because at the time Magic Johnson played, Magic Johnson was 6'9", playing point guard. He was a nightmare to match up with. He was able to dish. He was able to drive. Hell, he even played center in his rookie season and dropped 42 points. And we all remember that. But the biggest key about Magic was he was able to score the basketball as well. Now, I'm not going to put all the blame on Ben Simmons for these losses, but somewhere along the line, you're going to have to contribute on offense. Now, I agree with you. The ability to spread the floor and find the open man is his primary job. Let's make sure we don't get
And
that
you was a
confused.
jump shooter, Barrick, so you would
I understand that.
appreciate that.
I understand that. But then still, I had to find a way to score the basketball too, brother. And somewhere along the line, he is going to have to find a way to get his spots on the floor, utilizing his height, reading the defense, posting up in the low post, and making some plays from there. However, if that's going to be a problem, then him and Jacques Vaughn are going to have to figure things out in practice and how to get in place.
how can this be a problem, fellas? Ben
they're
Simmons is going to get more shot selections now that KD is not on the floor than he's ever going to get, especially
He's
when
not
KD
dropping
come back.
points. He's not
even
scoring
shooting
right
the ball.
No,
He's not even taking the shots.
I mean, listen, they won like was it 12, 13, 14 games by Ben Simmons. And like this is what I'm saying. I'm gonna get the camera out. This is exactly how I played. Now, the selfish part of me wants to see Ben Simmons go out there and score 16, 18 points. You know, I know he can actually do that. But
I would like to see him do it too.
the type of offense that Jacques Vaughn is actually running, I know definitively it works and it leads to a lot of wins because he comes up, he sets the high picks. And you know, Barrick, a lot of guys don't communicate. You know, a lot of guys don't like fighting through screens. They don't like to say screen left, screen right. You know, they don't communicate. I don't know what's with this generation today. They don't communicate. There's something.
Yes, that's a definitely lost art communicating on defense. That's a lost art.
Yeah, they don't communicate. So them picks, I played a lot of games and I set picks and nobody says like, yo, screen left,
pick right, pick left, screen top.
Nobody talks. So that style with what Jacques Vaughn is running, it works and you can win a lot of games like that.
Rasheed, I'm not going to let you get away with making Jacques Vaughn the scapegoat, bro. No way. We keep having a conversation about skill set, and we shouldn't. No one is questioning Ben Simmons' skill set, excuse me. We're talking about the reality and what needs to happen when one of those two guys, KD or Kyrie, is not on the floor. Because when both of those guys are on the floor, the way Ben has been playing all season is perfect. He is playing. He's a playmaker. He's playing exceptional defense. But when one of those guys are out, he has to offensively step it up.
All right,
and it's
so
not even a question of Kenny. It's
okay.
Rudy.
Let me quote a comment that was made in regards to Simmons last Friday. It was coming through Kyrie Irving. I'm going to read this very carefully to you guys. Being assertive, being aggressive, and knowing that the team needs that from Ben Simmons is what came from Kyrie Irving.
Right. I saw that.
Being assertive and being aggressive.
Yeah.
So where did the assertiveness come from? That's going to
He
lead
got.
him
That's
into
like he had 10 assists in the first half. I mean, I'm gonna do a separate video on this. He was driving, he was being aggressive, and they collapsed on him, and he kicked it out to wide open shooters. How did they get wide open? Because they had to leave their man to try to actually leave the shooter to try to help out Simmons from driving to the basket.
Let me ask you something, Rashid. In this next 2 to 3 weeks with the Brooklyn Nets, what do the Brooklyn Nets need Ben Simmons to do more now that KD is out? Get more assists or more points?
He knows that. I mean, he said it himself. Right. He's a high basketball IQ player. I mean, he's not stupid, so he knows he actually is going to have to score more. He has to be more aggressive, you know. But again, I mean, if they help, you know, like a lot of teams know what Ben Simmons is going to do. I mean, I showed videos. The last game he played where he scored 22 points, you know, when he has single coverage on him, then yeah, he'll go and look to score. But as soon as you can help out, he moves the basketball, man. I mean, you can't. I don't know if you could fault him for that. If you want him to take up bad shots or.
Yes,
you know?
yes, I can.
Well, see, that's the thing.
Taking chances. Did we not just watch him make that demon revisited himself? Remember that play that happened in Philly where this whole drama started? Like it just happened again where he drove to the basket. Kyrie gave him the wide open lane and he passed it and it went out of bounds. Like he still got
it was like Nick Claxton was cutting. I mean, it was following up, and it looked like he was wide open. It looked like Nick Claxton wasn't ready for the pass.
I'm looking at the result. I'm looking at the result, and then I'm looking at history. I'm looking at how it repeated itself, the same situation. And Ben Simmons specifically can't afford to have that happen more than once because all eyes is on him in those situations. And there is no KD. Why, if he's the second, third best player on the team, why is he so?
No, he has to. Like I said, he has to flip the switch. You know, he has to. Okay, well, I can't play make now. Now I got to get into this mindset where I actually got to really start being aggressive. It was one game. I mean, I think Michael Jordan, I forgot what game it was. He had a game where he only scored like he took one shot. I think it was one shot in the fourth quarter or something like that. We seen Kyrie. I mean, I did a video on Kyrie in the playoffs last year in game 3 of the Milwaukee Bucks series. The last 8 minutes of the game, he didn't shoot. I mean, wait a minute. I said, fucking Kyrie Irving, how you don't take a shot? I was going crazy. I said, this is Kyrie who could score at will, and he didn't shoot in the last 8 minutes. Literally didn't take no shots in the last 8 minutes of the game in that Bucks series, and that was 86-83. You tell me in 8 minutes, Kyrie can't get me 8 to 10 points, and they would have won that. They would have won.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing with Ben Simmons. You know what he's averaging for this season, point wise? 7.5 points.
No, I feel Barrett. I feel you on that, but I don't think Jacques Vaughn is asking him to. You see, if you watch the Brooklyn Nets. It's the same sets. Ben Simmons just comes up, sets the high screen, he dives, the defense collapses on him, he kicks it out to the corner shooters. If not, he can get the layup in.
But that's where the glaring problem is, or the glaring contradiction. I'll start with the contradiction. The contradiction for him is that we know what he's able to produce as an offensive player, starting from his height, starting from his ability to drive and dish. What's been the biggest knock on him? Couldn't shoot a free throw. Could not shoot from 12, 15 feet away. Now they say he was working on it. When you were brought over, and I'm talking about Ben Simmons, when you were brought over to help out Kyrie, to help out KD, that was the major plan. You knew somewhere along the line, one of these two players, speaking of Kyrie or KD, was going to get injured at some point. They're playing massive minutes. They're putting a lot of their effort on the court. Somewhere along the line, something's going to break down. Ben was that third piece, or is that third piece, that supportive piece. I know what his job responsibility is. Like, we have our job, we know what our responsibility is, but sometimes we got to go the extra mile to make sure the job gets done. Ben is going to have to go the extra mile to make sure the job gets done.
Okay, now AR with the cooler kick. Keep street, we run this shit. Fell back after run it up. Then my last bitch, she was dumb as fuck. Hop out, get the spraying so. Cause my last ops wasn't saying nothing. Ho stunting, big pimpin', ho hunting. 38 with the cooler kid in the mall with me like Joe Budden. These hoes front.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.